G'day there guys, the Lego block said 6 to 99 years, but joke's on you, I can't count! Welcome back to another episode of r/am I the a-hole. It's your host Markee. I hope you enjoy today's stay. Chuck a prawn on the barbie if you would like. Sit back, relax, and enjoy today's bloody good content. Thank you. Posted by user WanderLost404. Titled, Am I the a-hole for not letting my roommate use the car anymore? So I own two vehicles outright, a newer vehicle that is my daily driver, and a 2001 model Jeep Cherokee that I keep because 2 to 3 times a month I want to use the 4-wheel drive for something. I would consider selling the Jeep because I don't need two vehicles, but decided to keep it for now. The deal. The Jeep is in my name, and I pay the insurance for it. I made a deal with my roommate that they can drive it as much as they want. I gave them keys, provided that 1, they pay for their own gas, and 2, they pay for the upkeep and repairs on the Jeep up to the cost I pay for insurance on it every year. This includes oil changes and the like. My roommate doesn't have a car, and they're dependent on my Jeep to get to work. I've been asking them for a few months to get the oil changed, and they haven't. It's past due by 2 months. I've been asking them to get basic maintenance done since April, and they haven't done anything. It needs 2 new tires, and I'm willing to help with the cost of this. The spark plugs and the windshield wipers are completely screwed. Nothing major, all just basic maintenance. I confronted them about it with an ultimatum. Go get basic maintenance done as per our deal, or I'll take the keys back. I've been asking them to do maintenance since April, and provided this ultimatum on June 1st, with reminders ever since. Last Friday, I took the keys back. I told them a week prior that I would do so they could plan for it, and said they can't drive it anymore if they won't do maintenance as per our deal. They've missed work so far this week because they can't get to work and didn't make other plans to get there. There have been constant fights about this because they can't afford the maintenance, and I am preventing them from getting to their job to make money in order to be able to afford it. But I've been asking since April FFS. Am I the a-hole for taking the keys back and preventing them from going to work? It is reasonable that they might get fired if they miss the entire week, but I've given an ample warning. Several of our friends are saying that I'm the a-hole because I can technically afford to get things fixed myself and should give them a break, or that I should let them keep driving it until they can pay for it because they need it to get to work. Edit. It is quite possible they will lose their job if they don't get back to work soon. They are otherwise a decent roommate, and the pandemic has been rougher on them than on me. I have more disposable income. They sometimes do my dishes along with theirs, but otherwise, things are even between us, apart from my loan of the car. I'm gonna go with not the a-hole for this one. I don't know why they refused to do it. They had 4 months of you asking them to do the maintenance. They had so many weeks, so many days to get it done, and yet they refused to. They might be an otherwise alright person outside of this fiasco, but that is still no excuse in my books to drop the ball like this, especially when you're being allowed to use the car and you just have to pay for a little bit of the services. This roommate does not at all sound grateful for the opportunity that OP has given them, therefore they get that right taken off them. They can be a child all they want and not make plans to go to work. Guess what? You get fired if you do that. And it's all your fault. It is all your fault if you do that. I want to slap the roommate in the face and say, grow up and look after yourself. Stop complaining. You've done this to yourself. OP, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. You were incredibly kind and generous to lend an extremely valuable asset to your roommates when they needed it. It's basic courtesy to get it maintained since they're not paying for anything else. If it had been me borrowing your car, that thing would have been kept up like the Queen's coach. You sound like an awesome person. Thank you. I feel bad that there is 50-50 odds he'll lose his job, but I also feel like he was taking advantage. Not the a-hole. You had an arrangement and they aren't upholding their end of the deal. They can find other ways to work, like Uber, train, bus, taxi, etc. Tell them it's your car, your choice. We live in a rural area. There are no bus stops within several miles, and I don't know if Uber is feasible or not. I've never seen any form of public transport out here within walking distance. I feel bad that there are decent odds that they'll lose their job if they can't get someone else to take them to work, but I also feel like they were taking advantage and I gave them ample warning. So, you're not the a-hole, but think about what them losing their job might mean for your rent. It might be in your own self-interest to make sure they keep their job. Yeah, this has been on my mind. Something to weigh pros and cons of, for sure. This is a college town, so I could probably find someone else to take the room he's using, but that's not ideal. I guess I could move too, or I could let him keep using the car, but I'm still crossing my fingers he'll figure his crap out. Update. So quite a bit has changed in my life since I made that last post. Roommate did lose his job. He got a few rides from co-workers and his sister, who visited for 3 days during the pandemic, but often he didn't make it in on time and missed more days on top of that. He borrowed, stole, whatever the keys the day after he lost his job, and he drove my Jeep to work to try to convince them not to fire them. Apparently, he threw a fit while he was there, so he's definitely not getting rehired. He threw a fit when he got back too, doing very slight damage to my Jeep. I was home and pissed when I realized he'd taken it out. He maintained that it was unfair of me to expect him to pay for all my repairs, etc., even with the stipulations outlined in the previous post. He got more and more combative every day and kept making up excuses to use the Jeep and ask for the keys again, which I'd hidden better. Anyway, I paid up through October, rental house in a rural area, and moved in with my brother and his husband. His husband lost his job almost as soon as the pandemic hit, and they've been having trouble paying rent on one salary. We used Splitwise, the website, to figure out how much I'd contribute. I'm sleeping in their second bedroom, which is set up as an office, so it's not ideal. I don't have as much privacy as I'd like, and they have less access to their office, but I'm saving a decent bit of money. We're planning for 6 months of this setup at present, which will let me save to find a better place without a roommate and give them time to get their finances sorted out. Oh, and I sold the Jeep to my roommate's uncle. Apparently he bitched about it enough to everyone that his uncle realized he kinda wanted a Jeep, and I got a bit less than KBB value for it, but it was quick cash. There was only one parking spot available for me at my brother's apartment, so I was in a hurry. I have no idea if my roommate is driving it now or not. I still feel a twinge of sadness and nostalgia when I think of the Jeep that I don't have anymore. There's reasons I kept it when I wasn't really using it. It was the right choice to sell it, but part of me wishes I hadn't. A bit boring, all things considered, but I like reading updates, so I figured I'd make one. Hey, from a mechanic's background, you made the best choice possible to get rid of the Jeep. Trust me, that brand is notorious for constantly needing repairs. You made a good choice. Thanks for updating. Your ex-roommate was selfish and spoiled. He can go throw a tantrum for his audience of 0. I noticed you said you paid up through October. Hopefully you got off the lease? ? Otherwise you can be liable for any damages, etc. that can happen to the apartment. Like if the landlord needs to evict your ex-roommate, that will also be an eviction on your record, which will make renting in the future almost impossible. Yeah, it was originally going to be up in January. House rental, not an apartment, but the landlord was pretty understanding about it after I explained what was going on. I ended up paying for about 2 months that I'm not living there, but all things considered, that's damned lenient. I think they have someone else lined up to live there, but I'm concerned they'll have trouble getting rid of my roommate if he can't pay. Hard to evict during the pandemic. As long as you are legally off the lease, keep all your documentation backed up. Will do. Thank you for the warning to go and make doubly sure. Posted by user Geriatric Puppy. Titled, Would I be the a-hole if I suggested we euthanize our dog before our family vacation? Obligatory throwaway account and mobile, so I apologize for formatting errors. I have a 12-year-old border collie. We adopted him January 2012. He is a much-loved member of our family. Dad, mum, and 3 kids. He is diabetic and has a thyroid condition and has arthritis in his hips. Currently, he takes insulin shots and 2 pills twice per day. In 2018, he beat Lyme disease, but that's when we discovered all the other health problems. He's been struggling to get up more and more. In the last 2 weeks, he has had 2 seizures. One was so significant that he bit his own tongue. He had one again today, and it took him 2 hours to come back to normal consciousness. Occasionally, he won't eat after he's given his insulin, which can cause another seizure due to a quick drop in blood sugar, unless I get down on the floor and feed him by hand. So, about 80% of the time now, he's a happy guy either napping, asking for pets, or asking you to throw the ball to him. He can't chase it anymore, but he still loves to take a couple chews, have you go get the ball and throw it back to him. It's that 20% that seems to be quickly taking over though. Here is where Would I Be the A-Hole comes in. We have a family camping trip coming up the 2nd week of July. We can't afford to kennel him at the vet's office. We can't take him with us because we're planning some things that will have us away from the campsite all day, water park, and it's unsafe and unfair to keep him in the camper by himself all day. I have friends that can care for him and administer his meds. I am just earnestly afraid that he will pass away while we're gone, and I don't want them to carry that guilt. On the other hand, I don't want my kids to be sad all vacation about our dogs passing away. They know he's old, and they know he may pass away. It's just going to be really rough when it happens. Thank you for your help. Would I be the a-hole if I suggested we euthanize our dog before our family vacation? If we stepped back 100 years in the past, when this was normalized, I assume, maybe you wouldn't be the a-hole back then, but I know you're looking at it at a standpoint that this is, in your opinion, what's best for everyone. You're honestly just trying to take the easy way out of this, and I think it's pretty messed up what you're trying to do. And I even agree that a lot of people would do this because it does put the dog out of their misery faster. But in this situation, I would not do that. I would not suggest that you put it down. It really isn't the socially acceptable option, and I think you would be an a-hole for trying to go through with this one. Please don't. You would be the a-hole. This is a very difficult one to vote on. I can understand the concerns, but it seems like things are becoming worse and worse by the day. A vacation might not be the best of ideas right now if the dog's health is this much of a concern. I think the biggest point of discussion with the whole family would be a decision on staying to at least watch over him for however long he has left with you guys, and your suggestion of euthanization. Pets will die. That's a fact. And honestly, you may even be doing your dog a favor. I know that sounds incredibly callous, but it sounds like he's not quite enjoying his life as he used to. He may even be in pain during his 80%. It's a hard choice, but it's at least an option to suggest to your family. Not even specifically for the vacation's sake, for your dog's sake. No a-holes here. This one hits home for me. Last summer, my old boy had a massive seizure. First one he had ever had, while we were on vacation hours away. Our pet sitter rushed him to the vet, but he was too far gone and had to be put down. He was old, but it still came out of the blue. He had been slowing down, but still seemed like his happy self when we had left. I still feel like crying when I think about how I couldn't be there for him in his final moments. If you put your own feelings aside and truly think about what's best for your dog, no a-holes here. Do right by your buddy, whatever that looks like. Cancel the vacation. Your dog is a member of your family. Sounds like you're going for a convenient option so that the family vacation isn't spoiled. Sorry, but you're the a-hole. I agree with you on this one. If the dog is doing good 80% of the time and it's a member of the family, then you're the a-hole for even considering putting it down for your convenience. Cancel the trip or get someone else to watch him while you are gone. Not the a-hole. That's a lot of problems. People forget these are animals. With these health issues, he would have normally been dead by now. You can keep extending his life, so he can continue to have seizures, be unable to eat properly, constant pain, or you can let him go so he can rest. Also, see what your vet thinks. They might agree with you. Euthanize a dog out of convenience on Am I the A-hole? Pretty sure OP knew the response. Info. Have you gotten a vet's opinion? I've talked to his vet about when to euthanize before, but not this specific question. He says it's really up to our family. He has people that care for incontinent dogs with diapers. He has some that euthanize when they start having regular seizures. He basically said that as long as we enjoy him and he seems happy, we should enjoy him. Like I said in the post, it's about 80% happy, 20% scary now, and it seems to be declining fairly quickly. Updates. Still a throwaway account. I was clearly the a-hole and I accepted the judgment. I kept my mouth shut. We took the good boy with us and he didn't have any seizures during the trip. 2 weeks later, he started having seizures at 3:30 a.m. I rushed him to the vet as soon as it opened. He ended up having 10 seizures that day and never really came out of any of them. He just kind of stayed in a fugue state, even with IV meds to stop the seizures. We made the decision as a family to end his suffering. We were all with him when he passed, and we miss him dearly. Pet your puppas, folks. Hello. Sorry for you losing your dog. I have a diabetic dog and have some questions. Do the seizures happen because of the diabetes? Also, aren't you supposed to give them the food before the shot because they can't take it on an empty stomach? My vet wasn't sure if the seizures were related to the diabetes or not. We were leaning towards no, because he had seizures randomly throughout his life, and the diabetes didn't develop until later in life. For the insulin, we gave it to him twice a day with meals, along with his other pills. Juma Smith says, I didn't see your original post, and while your reasoning was somewhat understandable, I'm really glad you didn't do it. It is one of those things where you were trying balancing necessity, convenience, and feelings, which wouldn't have been fair. All of that to say, I am so happy you took him on the trip. You gave him a last hurrah. He had a great time, and you all got to spend some quality time with him. Your children are really going to appreciate the memories of this time with him, and he most definitely knew he was loved. I'm sorry he's gone, but I'm happy that he got that last good run with y'all. Dude, I'm so sorry people were so judgy to you. Having owned many dogs and witnessed and endured their end of life, it's so hard. Knowing when to put them down is the hardest decision. I think I've always made my pets suffer too much in the end because I'm so afraid to end their lives too early. Knowing they suffered too long hurts my heart. I think the recommendation you get advice from your vet was the best call. Don't be hard on yourself or feel like you were being an a-hole before. You were looking for advice and help. You were not an a-hole, and if your family had made the decision to put your dog down before the vacation, you would not have been an a-hole. I'm sorry for your loss. You're a good pet owner. When you're ready, there's a perfect dog for your family that's out there for you. Alright, I think that's where I'm going to end today's video, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it. As always, I want to do a huge shout out to all my channel members and Patreon subscribers. You should be up on the screen now. I love you all, and I think every single one of you are amazing for supporting the channel in the way that you do. Again, thank you so much for supporting me. And again, if you did enjoy today's video, please do tell me what you thought of it down in the comments below. All of your hot takes, opinions, whatever you think, really, whatever's going on in your life right now, I'd love to hear down in the comments below. Before I leave, I'd also like to announce that I'm going to start doing meme content again on the second channel. I know it's been a while, so click on the Markee head on the screen without the Australian flag behind him if you want to go see some memes. And as always, guys, have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.